Hey, so back to your first pick, Slavkovsky. Is it a given he's on the roster?
No, I would say no. I mean, listen, Owen Power, he was first overall and he went back to Michigan. I would say we'll do the best thing for him. I'd like to think that he would be. We'll give him every chance to, but if he's not and he's not ready, we're ready for that too.
So the options, you have lots of options with him, don't you? Because he could go back to play pro in Europe.
Yep.
He could play for Laval.
Good.
Could he play in the CHL?
He could. Yep.
That's curious. I find that we were kind of talking about that before you joined us. And I find that so interesting and curious that you could play pro hockey and then in another country and then go to the Canadian Hockey League, which is an amateur institution.
But the reality is Laval would be the place for him, correct?
Right. I mean, he's been playing with men, right? He's been playing pro hockey like Bob did. So I would think that to send him back to junior probably doesn't make a lot of sense right now. But we'll see when he comes to camp and what he's ready for. He's we spent a lot of time with him. He's pretty mature. He kind of understands what he needs to improve on, and we're going to help him.
Are there any comparisons? Like, is there somebody that's out there that says, "Man, we know he's raw, but the upside is just so big." Somebody, I mean, I threw out the name a couple of times to friends of Jaromir Jagr.
Yeah, that'd be.
Can wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But is there somebody that internally you guys talked about and said this guy could be a fill in the blank?
Well, I'd hate to put a tag on him, but his style of play can be a little like Rantanen in Colorado, a little like Hossa was, right? Maybe not as defensively there yet, but those kind of blends. I mean, obviously Jagr, anytime you say Jagr, people would bat an eye, but he does have that style down low where he wants to draw people to him and make the contact and then feed off that and try to get to the net and either make a play or score. So he does have that style, but I think he's pretty mature. He's never compared himself to anybody in our interview process. He just said, I'll be the best Uri I can be. So
and he's got cojones, doesn't he?
I think so. You saw it draft night. He kind of gets it, right? He walked in on that red carpet. I heard he got a few boos, and I saw his comment after he got drafted saying, "Listen, those guys are passionate about hockey like I am. Hopefully someday they like me." So I thought it was pretty mature.
With Jeff Gorton of the Montreal Canadiens. I'm intrigued by having the opportunity to talk to you about sitting there with the first pick in this draft. And I think you almost said it. If it's a Matthews, if it's a McDavid, you know who you're going to take. And while the phone calls may come in, you're probably not going to trade away a franchise player like that, a guy who has that kind of status. And with no disrespect to Slavkovsky, he was not that necessarily that guy. And Shane Wright was certainly in the conversation, and perhaps others. Can you tell us, did your phone ring a lot to see whether you'd be interested in moving that pick?
Yeah, I think early on after we won the lottery, people were just gauging what we were going to do. But having it be in Montreal, the first pick overall, it would have taken a lot. And we felt, although people can say it's not Matthews McDavid, we do feel like Slavkovsky has a chance to be a really good player. So I the opportunity to get 6'4" and 225, 230 already at 17, 18 and put him in our lineup is just too intriguing. So I think when you talk about this year's draft and not having those guys like the McDavids, I think it's interesting that this guy has come out of not nowhere, but he necessarily before the season started, he wasn't rated in the top 5, right? So he's really coming on and starting to hit his stride. So that's what was intriguing and exciting to us as we go forward.
No question that the Olympic tournament really changed his stock, didn't it?
I think so. I mean, as an underage at the World Junior, I think people took notice of him, how big he was and what kind of skill he had. But I don't think anyone expected him to go to the Olympics and play with men and do what he did and be the basically MVP of the tournament, right? And then back it up. I was at the game against Canada with all NHL players and a lot of good players. Matt Barzal and Dubar and a lot of good players were there, and he fit right in, and he was looking to he's looking to show people that he wants it, and I feel like he grabbed it.